Alrighty, folks, welcome. Welcome everyone to ThursdAI, May 22nd. And what a week. What a week. We've been looking forward for this. And I want to say maybe a couple of chill weeks before this one, and it felt like this is the calm before the storm, and the storm came, y'all. So welcome everyone who's listening, who's tuning in. My name is Alex Volkov. I'm an AI evangelist with weights and biases. I'm the host of ThursdAI. With me here, we have a few co-hosts as well. Let's say hi to the usuals, and then the folks who are standing in. Yam Peleg, welcome, Yam.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I already know what I want to talk to you about, and it's called
So many things.
so many things, but specifically diffusion. Diffusion, absolutely. I saw you getting very excited about this one. Nistan Tahira, Nistan, welcome. How are you?
What's up, everybody?
We're
It's
doing
gonna be a
good,
good
doing
day.
good.
It's gonna be a good day.
It's gonna be a good
Oh
day.
yeah.
Today it's like AI Christmas.
Nistan is coming to us all the way from Canada, and we have a returning friend of ours, a returning, you could say, a returning co-host as well, Ryan Carson from
Hey, buddy.
AI. What's up, Ryan?
Good to see y'all. Nice. I missed y'all. I've been listening, but it's good to be back on the show for a minute.
So welcome. It's great to have you here to help us cover with this like absolutely insane week. I want to just say, start the show with saying welcome to everybody who tunes in. We already have like a bunch of folks on the Twitter space because everybody wants to. Nobody could have caught up with everything that happened this week. This week was absolutely insane. Specifically, I had to do a lot of digging to give the TLDR. It's not going to be as standard as previous. I also went to GoogleIO, so I was there in the thick of it, trying to catch up with everything. So this is why we're here, to collectively know, to learn, and to stay up to date, so you don't have to. So everybody who's on the Twitter space, please, very happy that you guys are joining us. We would love it if you give us a little bit of a support by going to the bottom right of the Twitter space and give us a comment. What got you the most excited this week about AI in a bunch of releases? And obviously, if you were there, give us a little boost, a little retweet, so other people will discover. We will be doing a live stream of the Anthropic event. Hopefully, folks will send me a link of the Anthropic event as well. So we're gonna do a watch party here. Together. Hopefully they're not going to take too long. I'm hoping it's not like an hour-long keynote, but we'll see. But we know that what they're going to release anyway. So this week has not even started has not even finished to be crazy, and it's only Thursday. And I will just say that our week ends on Thursday. We end the show. We're going to post everything. And OpenAI decided, as always, as we predicted, to open up stuff on Friday and basically drop an announcement just before GoogleIO. Then they dropped an announcement as we expected just after GoogleIO. They used the words IO as well, but all right. I think we don't have that much time to just talk. I think we'll just jump into the TLDR as much as possible. I will just repeat a few things here. First of all, ThursdAI, we stay up to date, so you don't have to every week. It turns into a newsletter and a podcast. If you miss any part of the show, you'd be able to grab it. Just go to ThursdAI.news. Second of all, we start the show with a TLDR. Many people love the TLDR. Honestly, many people, that's their podcast. They listen to the TLDR, like 10, 15 minutes, and then they're like, all right, I'm up to date. I know everything. They just want to know that they haven't missed anything. That's also fine. If you listen to the TLDR, and you're like, oh, I didn't know this, feel free to stick around and watch with us and have us discuss. This week, as I said, is the show is going to be special because we're gonna tune into breaking news as they happen in an hour. So in order to do this properly, we need to actually cover some of the stuff that happened in the next hour. So we're jumping into the TLDR. TLDR serves another purpose that basically is for me, not for you guys. I work hard to keep up with everything, to put everything in notes and to structure everything, but I don't get everything at all. So while I do the TLDR, my co-hosts and you guys in the audience can also tell me, hey, Alex, what about this thing that was huge that you probably missed because 7 other huge things dropped in this like insane week of May, what was it, like May 16th to May 22nd, May 15th to May 22nd. So we will start the show with this TLDR thing, and let's get it. I think Let's get it. I'll actually show this as well. Yeah, why not? Alrighty, folks. Let me do this thing. So first of all, and let's go. Here's everything we're gonna talk about, including some breaking news on ThursdAI on May 22nd. Alrighty, folks. A huge week of ours, and the huge week we started. I'm gonna scroll down specifically because the huge week started with OpenAI launched Codex on Friday. OpenAI came out with Codex, their asynchronous agent assistant, the third agent after Operator that I don't use anymore, yeah, but we do remember, and deep research. OpenAI dropped another agent. It's called Codex. It connects to GitHub and does pull requests for you, fixes bugs, etc. OpenAI dropped this just a few days before GoogleIO, just enough for folks in the weekend to play with. And not only was this dropped from OpenAI on Friday, on Monday afterwards, Microsoft had their huge conference called Build. And on Microsoft Build, they had a bunch of announcements, and we will talk about a few of them, celebrate a few of them because they include open source. Microsoft have decided to open source GitHub Copilot, folks. This is great. Open source in GitHub Copilot, the front end code, the kind of the VS part of this code. As you know, VS Code, the editor, is open source fully. The Copilot part was not, the GitHub Copilot part was not, and now it is. This is a direct answer to two clones of VS Code getting insane valuations. I'm talking about, of course, Windsurf with a $3 billion acquisition from OpenAI, and Cursor, which is now estimated at $9 billion, which is insane. And now you can also do it. Just clone GitHub Copilot with VS Code together because it's open source, and then swing for the fences. So GitHub Copilot also launched. By the way, you'll notice a theme here. This is number 2. We have 3 of those, maybe 4. GitHub Copilot also launched as an asynchronous coding assistant. Yep. So Codex launched on Friday. Remember, Microsoft is an investor in OpenAI, so they probably share some information. But GitHub Copilot also launched the coding assistant. You are now able to attach GitHub to a pull request, GitHub Copilot, and we'll do some stuff for you. Very similar to Codex, just kind of from the Copilot from GitHub interface. And Microsoft also added MCP support to Windows, not just Windows, yeah, like the operating system, the biggest operating system in the world. Yeah, you have a comment about this one? Feel free.
What? Like what do you mean MCP for Windows? Like
Windows
I don't get.
We'll get to discuss this. Yeah, we're TLDR. We'll get to discuss this for sure because it's just a crazy amount of stuff. This is Tuesday. Microsoft also announced a bunch of stuff related to their Copilot for enterprise. Many of the stuff, I just want to shout out, many of the stuff that and Ryan, you and I were Build, I think, last year. Many of the stuff that Microsoft announces are kind of like above or below the threshold of the show, but there's still super cool stuff that they implement AI in a bunch of things. We just we want to tell you about the main ones. Then, of course, maybe the biggest news heavy day of this week was GoogleIO,
nearly the biggest.
Nearly the biggest, yeah.
The biggest, yeah.
We'll see if today tops it. We'll see if yesterday topped it. But GoogleIO was definitely the densest news day of this week. We had just an incredible event. I was there. Shout out to the team who invited me. Thank you, Logan, and the Google AI Studio team. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, like a bunch of folks who were there and kept up with kind of like making sure that like we will be there to let you know about the latest and greatest. So just a run through of the things that Google has announced in GoogleIO, which was like a crazy amount of stuff, was definitely not everything. But Google is shipping. Y'all, Google is shipping. Not only is Google shipping, the biggest announcement of kind of like the LLM that we have is the best one. They released 2 weeks before I/O to just like give space to everything else, right? So Gemini Pro 2.5 I/O edition was like already launched. So they came out on stage and said, we already launched the big one. They announced a 50x increase in AI usage. So 9 trillion tokens processed the same time last year. Around 480 trillion tokens was processed during I/O, kind of like this year. They upgraded 2.5 Flash. It's now number 2 on the LM Arena, number 2 overall. So number 1 is Gemini 2.5 Pro. Flash is now number 2, and it has native audio stuff. There's one update that I didn't like, and we should talk about this. They switched the raw traces to reasoning summaries. I do not like this. Folks who are listening.
Speaking of LM Arena.
Yeah.
Speaking of LM Arena.
We have it down here. Yep, we have it. I got it. But yeah, we'll definitely have to mention the fact that, LM Arena also has news from this week. Gemini 2.5 updated with Deep Think, so kind of like 01 Pro also. They added native audio multimodality, so we're going to be able to hear from Gemini. We already heard, but now it's going to be native. They added a bunch of security stuff. Gemini Diffusion was announced. We'll definitely have to chat about this one. We talked about diffusion models before. We haven't seen a diffusion model from the Frontier Labs, and this one looks sick. They actually opened up some access. You had access. Would love to chat with you about that. Basically, super speed in editing for code and math, and it uses like a different process from Transformer. We definitely should talk about this as well. Do you guys remember we talked about this being an ultra event, and somebody mentioned, and we're like laughing, this is gonna be Gemini Ultra maybe. This is not why the event was ultra. The event was ultra because they announced a Gemini Ultra plan that now costs $250 a month, topping OpenAI's $200 a month Pro plan, which you can now join for the first 3 months at $150 only.
Wait. Do we get unlimited deep think with this? I'm not sure.
I haven't looked fully at the list of the things that we get, but you get some deep think. You get a bunch of VEO3 generation. I think it's almost unlimited. You get YouTube Premium if you want. Stop watching ads. It's an expensive plan. It does not seem like it's for most people. It's probably for developers, for creators. It comes with like a bunch of storage, so it feels like focused on creators. Moving forward. Number 3 on the roster of asynchronous agentic executions. Jules from Google was also launched. It was leaked a little bit before, but it was launched live on stage. Jules.Google is an asynchronous coding assistant that also connects to your GitHub, also does pull requests, also fixes things. And some people did a comparison thread. So Jules is now, Jules is free. Codex is, I think, only with OpenAI. Copilot from GitHub is also not free. So Jules is the one that people will go to by default, it feels like. So we're definitely going to chat about this. I'm going to try out Jules maybe.
Wait an hour. Wait an hour for Claude Code.
Yeah. We're going to wait an hour for Claude Code. Folks, this is still GoogleIO, and it keeps going. They had like 2.5-hour keynote. Honestly, my MacBook ran out of battery during the keynote. It was crazy. AI mode. Folks, remember, we had Robbie Stein from VP of Search Product on Google on the show announcing AI mode, and we let you know before everything else what AI mode is all about. I've been using AI mode since then, almost exclusively, probably like entirely exclusively. AI mode is now in general availability in the US. So everybody in the US can use AI mode, can talk to their searches, can have Google for you. Basically, that's the statement. And not only did AI mode launch publicly, Sundar treated it like this new thing, but we already know. Also, AI mode added a bunch of stuff, including private contacts, so it connects to your Gmail if you want to your documents. You can search all of that, including deep search. Do you guys know deep research? Now you have deep search. AI mode is fast, but deep search puts AI mode in kind of comparison with deep research, and they're using the same methodologies. They upgraded AI overviews as well, and just an absolute like barrage of news as well. So yeah, Gemini Pro Deep Think is not deep search, so they're deeping everything. Deep Think was announced. I haven't played with it. I haven't seen Deep Think yet. We're gonna get there. Not Deep Seek, Deep Think. And then I think the crown jewel of the AI announcement, so big that I've added like a separate category in my notes for it. VEO3 was announced. To me and to many people that I've talked to, there was the highlight of GoogleIO. Everybody who walked on stage from a presenter's perspective had like a big, beautiful video of their face with some animations. It was very clear that's not VEO2. VEO3, Google's flagship and probably the world's state-of-the-art video generation model was launched with realism, with physics on another level, and also natively multimodal, so it now can generate sounds and speech, which is insane. We have to talk about this for a long time before Claude. I think it's more important than whatever Claude will launch. But all right. They also quietly announced the Imagen 4. Imagen 4 is their image diffusion generator, also upgraded, also looks great with textual ability. Launched virtual try-on that I got to try. That's pretty cool. Like literally, they killed like 7 startups in San Francisco to trying this. You can go to Google Shopping and say, "I want this, dress," and then you put the dress on and then they basically model your body, different bodies as well. And then I think the coolest thing that they've showed, that they've announced, but we may never get to see, is virtual AI-powered glasses with a screen built in, so kind of not like Meta Ray-Bans, and memory and Gemini agentic execution, and you can talk to this updated Project Astra, and it will remember stuff for you. It will Google stuff for you. It will do things. They announced like an upgraded Project Mariner as well, folks. Just a huge barrage of news from GoogleIO, and we haven't even gotten to digest all of this. So we'll get to a point of digesting immediately after this TLDR. Reminder, we're still in the TLDR. And then the day after, as always, Sam Altman has the playbook of bookend announcements before and after I.O. And this one was pretty big, at least capital intensive. Let's say this. The OpenAI launched a video, a very highly production video, where some people started claiming it's AI generated. It's probably not. That we had rumors before, and now we know confirmed that Jonny Ive, the designer behind Apple iPhone and MacBooks and like a bunch of visionary products, is now joining OpenAI. He and his company, Jonny and Sam, jointly created a company called I.O., which is very funny to announce during GoogleIO, still going on. And I.O. is now joining OpenAI in a stock deal costing $6.5 billion. That's the price for Jonny Ive. If you remember, Google got Noam Shazir back for $2.5 billion, and now these AI talents are crazy. They're working on a hardware device that they aren't announcing yet, and we'll see next year. But yeah, they definitely wanted to come out with this announcement to cap the excitement from GoogleIO. Speaking of raises and insane raises, Yam, you mentioned this, Ella Marina, the place where we talk about vibes and comparisons between models, has raised $100 million seed round from Andreessen Horowitz. $100 million seed.
That's not a seed.
That's what they call it. And I remember Stability AI raising $100 million seed, and that's also something we have to discuss, because a VC-backed startup versus a scientific backed kind of research institute that's supposed to be non-impartial. It's going to be very interesting. XAI added live search API, and then you can now access X and other things via XAI API for free until June 5th. They also wanted to join the party with some releases. We still haven't seen Grok 2.
Grok 3.5.
Where
is Grok 3.5?
Yeah, do not be confused. TLDR is about the stuff that happened.
Okay.
We're still waiting
There's
for
so
Grok
much
3.5.
to talk about the TLDR, but okay.
That's true. I know it's hard, dude. I want to talk about all of this. I wanted to call all of you yesterday, yo. In this week's Buzz, super quick, this is Buzz Corner, where we'll cover everything that happens in Weights and Biases. We'll cover Fully Connected, our premier 2-day conference in San Francisco, June 18th and 19th. And I have a promo code for you to join. You definitely should go there. San Francisco is awesome. As you probably heard with Jonny Ive's announcement, it was all San Francisco. I also have a keynote next week at Imagine AI Live in Vegas. If you're there, would love to have you come out. And also, AI Engineer is coming. We also have a promo code for that. AI Engineer is a week after that, in a couple of weeks. So a lot of conferences. I think that's mostly it. Vision Video is VEO3. Voice and Audio is VEO3. Art and Diffusion is Imagen 4. I think everything else is basically it. And to cap this week off, we got news that Anthropic is going to have Anthropic's first developer day is today. Yours truly was not invited. A shout out to Anthropic folks. Please invite me for the next one. I would love to be there. I was already in San Francisco. I could have stayed. But Anthropic is going to launch something in 40 minutes, and we're gonna tune into the stream and have like a live watch party with you. And we know what they're gonna launch because Time Magazine broke embargo, and Claude 4 is apparently ASL 3. So we can report on somebody else's reporting. It's not us, but also I didn't get embargo, so that's all right. Nami, folks, have I missed anything huge from this week? I think I covered all the huge stuff, but if I did, I would love to know. In open source, I did miss something. Google also launched Gemma 3N.
Oh yeah, we got Gemma and we got Mistral.
Yeah, we got a new Mistral.
First agent open source model.
Yep. Mistral and all hands collaborated on the release of DevStral, 24 billion parameters, state-of-the-art open model for code, top of SWE bench verified for open models. So definitely this. Nistan, you said this on X. This is like AI Christmas, like the 12th day of Christmas that we got from OpenAI. I think it's time to actually start talking about any of these things. We have like 40 minutes to cover all of this. No stress.
One small thing was Cursor 0.5 came out, which a lot of people are raving about.
Absolutely. Cursor came out with a new updated tap model. They also said...
Also V0. V0 dropped a model. I'm not sure, like a couple of hours ago. V0 from Vercel dropped a model.
It's AI Christmas, guys. That's
AI Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
All right, folks. So what do we start with? It feels like let's start with like small-ish potatoes. We'll do a little bit of open source because open source is like not taking the main seat this week at all. Gemma 3N was dropped. It's dope. I'm not gonna say anything. It's dope. The cool thing about Gemma 3N, I actually want to show this on my screen for folks who are listening. Gemma 3N was launched by a few friends of the pod that were here before. Pratik Jain was here, talked to us a while ago on the show before they joined DeepMind, I think. Mobile first multimodal Matformer model. Matformer is a shortcut for Matryoshka transformer. Which is a super cool thing where, I would love to get into this. We don't have like tons of time, but I would love to get into this because like they're hiding a model inside another model somehow.
Oh yeah, we have no time at all this week. We have 40 minutes, but anyway, TLDR is the idea here is that these guys are cooking. This is a small, tiny model. The score is just unprecedented. Like we haven't seen anything like this, and it's just getting better again and again and again. The idea in short is that you can use half of the model, but like not depth-wise half, like not like this type of half, like, throughout the entire layers, the entire embedding, and basically use a smaller model and have a smaller footprint in terms of memory and requirements, and then run it on mobile and so on. And it's the first time we see a large-scale training of any model with it. So it's great. It's great to see it's been anticipated for long. It's been used on embedding models. It's the first time we see it on language generation models. And Gemma N is just incredible. Like look at the scores in comparison to other models, like orders of magnitude larger.
It flies on mobile devices. It's crazy. Shout out to the Gemma team. There's a bunch of stuff here. And there's going to be AI Studio preview for this. Mistral. So moving on. Mistral and all hands released DevStral, a 24 billion parameter model. We've been waiting for Mistral to release open source since like the couple of last releases. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, this one's crazy. This one just flew by everybody because I am looking at the SWE bench stuff. It beats O3 Mini. That's a very hard benchmark. I think that's like OpenAI's own benchmark. It beats O3 Mini. Yep. It beats Claude 3.5 Sonnet, which a lot of people still use with Cursor. This is, I think, the first like proper vibe coder that you can run on a 3090, and I'm downloading it right now on a 3090. So this is a big deal for all the preppers and autonomy people and
coders who don't
freedom fighters.
Their code.
Well, I think if we could get Cursor to route to local models like easily. I just think this would be well, I know you can, but it's hard. Like I wish it would do it dynamically, quickly,
Yeah, we're gonna make a video on that. So that's a whole video. By the way, really quickly, for the Gemma model that has been done before is I wanted to quickly cover that. You just train a small model with a bunch of layers, and then you just grow a whole other model on top of that, and now you have two models. So it's not like super crazy. But they also released MedGemma 4B, which is trained for medical stuff, and MedGemma 27B. And I'll have a very long Hugging Face blog post on all of those because I tested it with a whole bunch of doctors that just show up on Twitter, and but it wasn't as good as Quen 3 4B. So even though it was trained for that small model, that's something else there. So blog post coming on that one, just more Christmas stuff. Okay.
And speaking of Mistral, we have breaking news from Mistral. AI breaking news coming at you only on ThursdAI. All right, folks, this is not the breaking news that I know you guys expect, but Mistral just dropped a document AI, just literally right now, end-to-end document processing solution, world's best OCR model. So they have like JSON output from Mistral, B-box annotation, structured outputs from the extracted images from the document, and document annotations and structured output, which is
exciting.
It's super cool. Like, I know for a fact that like folks are using like Gina stuff. This is for documents. You get a JSON output from every model. Let's take a look super quick. Although we don't have to put Mistral on the pedestal, we have a bunch of IO stuff to talk about. Document accuracy, faster processing. I want to see if this is a pipeline or a model. That's all I want to see here. Getting invoices, extraction from invoices,
and so on.
Yeah, where's license? Precision documents, SOTA doc, blah blah blah. Industries.
Just another thing we missed. Apparently, DevStral small is multimodal.
DevStral is multimodal, really?
I see an projection layer in there. Okay, we're gonna test it out. More goodies. Okay, I don't see, they haven't posted a model for this stuff for the document AI. So this
it doesn't look like it's a model. All right, so moving on, very small breaking news there from Mistral. Thank you folks for letting us know in the comments. As stuff come out, please let us know as well. And if anybody wants anyone wants to send me a link to the Anthropic thing, so I'll be ready. Please do this as well in comments. Would appreciate you. Thank you. Moving on. I think this is most of the open source stuff that we wanted to cover because this week was not big for open source. It was big for multiple other reasons. I want to chat about I/O, folks. Let's talk about I/O. I think I/O is the biggest thing. Let's do a top of the I/O releases for each one here. Ryan, what was your top I/O release? The thing that blew you?
Stitch. Stitch is super cool, y'all. So I used it really hard this morning just to see like how good is the UI. It's good. And then what's amazing is it spits out vanilla HTML using Tailwind. This is going to transform I think the industry for everybody who wants to ship their first app. It's just it's really good.
So
it's like design.
Yeah, so Google announced Stitch, which is their acquisition of Galileo. Galileo was a company that just like built this. This is I think similar-ish thing to V0 to an extent, right, Ryan? What is the main difference? I think this gives you clean HTML, not like stuff. You can edit themes.
Yeah, it's very similar to V0. However, it's not Next.js specific. So I think for a lot of people, they're going to like it for that. It's also easier to iterate on the UI than V0, I would say. I love V0, but this is going to unlock a lot. It's very good.
Very interesting. They have a standard mode, which is Gemini 2.5 Flash, and then experimental mode with Gemini 2.5 Pro, and that one allows you to upload images as well. So we're gonna absolutely do this right now. So yeah, okay, this was yours. Yam, what was your highlight of GoogleIO releases? I think I don't
know. I want to say Jules, but I'm not sure it's GoogleIO or not. And I want to say Gemini 2.5, but I'm not sure that's GoogleIO or not. So definitely diffusion
I want to say diffusion was from what I saw you getting very excited about. Like you drove 10 minutes in your car discussing diffusion. Tell us about what diffusion. Tell us about the announcement. Like what did they do?
First, it's a surprise. I haven't seen this coming. Diffusion, no text diffusion. No one really talked about text diffusion, and especially not at as good as this one. It's the first time we get a text diffusion model which you can compare to not entirely to flagship models, but getting in the ballpark of like flagship models. The idea here is basically just TLDR. Next token prediction models are what we use today. They predict the next token, the next word. You have a text, they predict the next word in the text. But diffusion models work like the image generation models. They don't predict the next pixel, they predict the entire image at once. You see a blurry image, and then it becomes more and more refined towards the text that you made. So a question, an interesting question is, can we do the same thing, but for text, not for images? And long story short, it's a little less trivial because the images are continuous. There are many different color options for each pixel, but much less options for each token, for each letter, for each word. There are much less options. So it's very hard to take small steps towards changing a little bit the text towards what you want. So text diffusion is a little trickier to do. But here we see the first one, which is powerful enough to make sense to the general public. And again, it's predicting the entire text in one go. So in terms of how fast it is, it's extremely fast.
2,000 tokens per second, bro.
1,000 tokens a second on slow days. Like not even trying.
It's bonkers.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
2,000 tokens per second in this demo that we're just now showing, predicting the whole thing. So, okay, we've seen these token speeds from dedicated like GPU type things like ASICs. So we've seen this from Cerebrus, we've seen this from things.
After 2 years of optimization, here you see a research preview, the first one. Yeah. Like, imagine 2 years from now. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Absolutely crazy. Why do these diffusion models not get the same level of performance, do you think? Not speed-wise, but like code-wise.
First,
there is an architectural flaw.
Go on.
I wanted to make a post from I think it was from Komatsuzaki, who was saying that after a certain amount of tokens it becomes inefficient or something, but I don't fully recall why. But there is a particular flaw with them at longer contexts. But they are amazing in the beginning. This like they can do infill in code very efficiently. So there is a certain way that they can be used better than everything else, but they do have some limitation, if I remember correctly.
All right. So this is Yams. Nistan, what is your highlight from GoogleIO?
Honestly, I didn't follow it that much, but I'm just gonna show my own project with Dr. Johnson Thomas. It's on-device med notes, and we were really looking for like a non-Chinese medical model to use as a judge. So we're gonna have Quen 3, and Llama was being pretty bad at it. So I was actually very thankful for the Med Gemma 27B, because we're gonna use that as LLM as a judge to value other models and check data sets and check rubrics. So I really appreciated that Google just put that out and didn't put like very weird terms on it, because that's pretty helpful. Also, Flash 2.5 looks like might be the way to go here for like actual production inference, because that still gets 300 tokens per second, which is insane.
Yeah,
I'm using 2.5 Flash all the time, like in real stuff. The models are so good.
So 2.5 Pro, but also Flash updated with a few things during GoogleIO. So let's take this opportunity to dive into the kind of discussion. Folks, feel free to kind of chime in with commentary. Deep Think was added to both of them. It's a reasoning mode that gives the models way more time to think. Native audio input and output. This is like new-ish. We haven't like seen this before. Native audio. I actually didn't get a chance to play with it yet. I'm looking forward. Native audio. They showed on stage that it can whisper and it can like act out whatever. So like the stuff that we saw kind of exactly a year ago during GoogleIO, OpenAI presented their first like advanced voice mode. So this is the advanced voice mode that now is built into Gemini Flash. Computer use and tooling. Thought summaries is like the least favorite of mine, but basically we no longer get raw thinking traces in the UI. We get thought summaries. Don't love this. Again, I will say, folks from Google who are listening, please relay this information. We want actual traces. We want them, and it's very important for us. That's how we learn what the model actually knows. Flash also gets faster and cheaper, which is kind of crazy. 1 million contexts as well, like nothing new here, but like with real-time TTS, 24 languages support, and 2 voices as well. That's also something cool. Like you guys know that Notebook LM, for example, has 2 voices. Native input and output audio will now have 2 voices as well. Effective dialogue preview in live API, so you can like preview this in the live API as well. They've added Project Mariner computer use actions via Gemini API and Vertex API for partners, not for everybody. Project Mariner is their kind of browser agent. You guys remember maybe last year they announced this. It started as a Chrome extension that controls your Chrome browser, and it looked like Google folks took Project Mariner and started baking this into other solutions by putting the same Mariner in the cloud somewhere in Chrome, and they opened up an API for this. So basically now Google is offering via an API for these models the ability to just like use the web, not browse the web, use the web, click things, open up things. And this ability they baked into multiple things, including the Project Astra thing that they've announced, including AI mode that we're going to chat about as well. Like this ability looked like opened up. Do you know what it looks like to me? Remember the older folks of us maybe remember Web 1.0 switched to Web 2.0 with like JavaScript rendering, etc. And Google didn't know what's going on the website because all websites are generated with JavaScript. Ryan, you definitely remember.
I remember this.
And then Google kind of like rolled out an update that started like rendering the JavaScript in websites and seeing what's happening there. This feels like that for AI. This feels like they're now using agentic AI that can like click things, open up things, and get into like a website to actually give you more information. So this is Project Mariner, and it transcended the Chrome extension and is now like an actual tool. So now Gemini will be able to use this as well. We talked about thought summaries. They added thinking budgets. If you guys remember, this was only a Flash thing. Now a Pro also has this thinking budget. You can decide what the ceiling of the thinking tokens the model will use, and they extended there a little bit more. Let's see, what else? Security bump and MCP tool support. MCP tool support is coming to the SDK in Gemini, so everybody's supporting MCP, which is great. I think so. Yeah. So this was the model update part. The usage part was insane. I don't have the chart in front of me, but like the 9 trillion tokens and now 480 trillion tokens processed by kind of this time last year. The jump is 50x, and it feels like it's kind of around the same like crazy amount of AI users that we're feeling. It is fueled by a very generous like free tier. I know Nisten and GitHub GG is in charge of at least some of those trillions of tokens by processing the GitHub repos. But the jump is insane.
They cut out the free API though. That was fun. Well,
yeah,
that was lasting. Got some good data out of that.
So as we said last week, I think, the API was like offered for free, and they paused it because they need the TPUs, I guess, in Google's case, for something else. And then we talked about diffusion. Let's talk about the ultra tier. Gemini folks announced 2 new tiers. The previous advanced became pro, and now they have an ultra tier for $250 a month. The ultra tier gives you unlimited access to VEO3 via Flow. We're going to talk about VEO3 separately. Gives you a crazy amount of terabytes on the Google's cloud platform. and gives you a bunch of other interesting things. Folks, $250 a month. Who's paying? Who is paying?
I probably will. I mean, won't we all? Here we go.
Dude, I don't know. I'm already paying $200 for OpenAI.
Look, I'm gonna try.
Who's expensing it? That's the question. It's like...
Yeah, that's true. Who's expensing this?
Look, I'm gonna try it. I wanna try the DeepThink ones, and you know, it's not exactly more reasoning tokens. It's in parallel or something. We don't know yet.
Yeah,
it's like O1 Pro.
Oh, like O1 Pro, yeah. They're doing like a bunch of like optimizations there, probably like in parallel, and then like finding the best one. Google AI Ultra gives you DeepThink in Pro. It gives you VEO3. They give you Flow with VEO3, Whisk with higher limits. I don't know if folks are using Whisk. Notebook LM, higher limits. Pardon. And then also Project Mariner and YouTube Premium and 30 terabytes of storage, which is the regular one gives you 2 terabytes of storage. So 30 terabytes of storage.
I thought you said Project Mariner is only for select partners.
So Google
no, it looks
AI
like they
Ultra.
included. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think if they add on unlimited Jules usage to this, then everyone who's using Codex will also pay for this. Because right now I'm on the $200 OpenAI plan because of Codex. If Jules ends up being really good, then $250 basically for a developer for a month. I just think everyone who's building will do that.
All right, Ryan, we're playing a little bit of a choose your own adventure style updates here. So you mentioned Jules. Let's go to Jules. Google also announced that in addition to multiple things that now use Gemini 2.5 Pro, Gemini 2.5 Flash, and they shout out everybody. They shouted Replit. I was sitting together with a friend from Replit, and he was like, woo, Replit. They shouted out Windsurf and Cursor and like everybody. They just put him on stage. And then they're like, and also Jules. And people are like, what, WTF, man? What's Jules? Everybody started clapping. Ryan, what's Jules?
So Jules is an agentic AI developer, right? So you can think of it as this is Google's version of Codex or Cursor's version of their agent in the cloud. It looks pretty good. It uses 2.5 Pro. I believe you get a lot of test time compute on it. I can't use it yet. I'm on the wait list, so I'm dying to try it. So we'll see.
You're on the wait list? I thought they already released this.
I was yesterday. Yes. I will now sign up while we're here.
So Jules connects to your GitHub repo, and this is like literally the only way to use this. You cannot like prompt it for code. Any of these agents, you cannot just prompt for code. They all work via your repository, via connecting to your GitHub. No love for GitLab, it looks like. And then you connect to GitHub, which I already did. I don't know why it asked me again. And then you kind of you kind of just go there.
I'm signing in now. Let's see.
Yeah, and then you're just like, and then you say, all right, Jules, you have access to my GitHub, which I already did, and so it asked me again. And then you basically select a repository, and you ask it to do stuff. So I have here, I don't know, I have a bunch of repositories, and then you just select one. Let's say this one, and then you're like, right there, read me. So very similar to things. Now the difference here, Jan, we should probably talk about this because like we will definitely discuss coding agents and tools. We now have like 3, maybe 4 categories of like these tools, right? There's the IDE based ones. So we're talking about Windsurf, Cursor, maybe RuCode and Klein. Like those folks are built into VS Code, mostly VS Code, maybe JetBrains as well with Windsurf. They are kind of changing code in front of me together with me. Those like my Copilot started with like a tab completion and then became like a chat and now an agent. Ryan, you mentioned Cursor before. Cursor did update with the background agent execution as well, which kind of like blurs the lines. I'm going to ignore this for a sec. So there's like one category. There's another category of the lovable and bold.new and like all of the vibe coding things, and looks like we just had one from Google as well that joined us. The name escapes me.
I'm blanking on it too.
Jules?
Yeah. No, not Jules. The one that Ryan mentioned. Ryan, please remind me. The one
Fire something.
Well, there is a Firebase builder as well. which is
Yeah.
closest to lovable.
So those are basically create a UI for me. Open UI from Weights and Biases, like it was very similar to this in the beginning. Those are like for less coders, maybe this thing, and they're kind of like just like build the thing for me, and then there's some code, and then you have to do something with it, maybe deploy. And now we have this like, the third category is CLI based tools. So that's Cloud Code, that's Codex. They used to be Codex, now Codex is in the cloud. It used to be Codex, and there's a few others, I guess. And now there's like this fourth category of AI agents that just do stuff in my repo. If you guys remember Devin from a year ago, Devin is like notoriously, maybe not notoriously, the one that like announced this category and did this for a long time. Basically, somebody that works with you on your GitHub repositories, not vibe coding at all. So like, you can vibe code with Windsurf, Lovable, and Bold.new definitely vibe coding adjacent. These type of coding agents are work related. They go there to fix bugs, to create things. You can do similar things with them, but it does look like there's multiple.
I just went in. I got access. You can open Jules. I've also posted the link on the GitHub space.
So folks should definitely give Jules a try. Well, we talk about this last category of the things like Jules, like Codex, like Copilot agent. I'm like Devin, like multiple others. That seems to be like a friend, like a colleague that you just like add on the ticket, and maybe this ticket that you don't want to do, maybe add tests. The benefit of those, I think that we should definitely talk about this. The benefit of those, it started with Codex on Friday, and now we have Jules, and we have Devin. If you want to pay for this, the benefit of those is they're async. You don't have to sit there. Cloud Code, you pretty much have to sit there. Cursor, until today or until yesterday, you had to like watch it and accept changes and everything. This one works via pull requests. It's kind of like handing off a chunk of your task. And I saw something from OpenAI, Ryan, I'll get to you after this. I saw something from OpenAI. They talked about lending MCP support in the Responses API, the new Responses API. And the person who did this said he had like 30 Codex tasks running asynchronously at the same time, and all he did is reviewed pull requests. And this turns the software developer from a software developer to a engineering manager that has like multiple agents at his disposal to do some stuff. And you go and he's like, no, actually that's not good, change, and then it changes. Ryan, comments?
Yeah, but that's not a real metric.
Well,
like
but
you can.
I like debates. I like debates, but we don't have too much time. So go ahead, and then Ryan.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm just saying that there are some claims it can do this amount of tasks in parallel or this amount of tasks in parallel. I can split the tasks how I want, and basically those systems are trained, before to do that. Specifically because AI works well, when the task is extremely small and extremely defined and so on. So you can split the tasks to very small chunks, and all of a sudden you do like 50 tasks or 100 tasks, but it's not the right way to measure this. You get what I'm saying? I mean, you can't compare this to a different agent that, for example, just do everything in one go. It's not bad. I mean, it's not a real metric, the amount of tasks.
So I'll say, I mean, but real world usage, right? So before I was pair programming inside of Cursor, right? And you can only do that one-on-one synchronously, right? And now at night, I fire off 10 things that I just haven't gotten to yet. And I wake up to, PRs, review them real quick and merge. And it truly is changing my workflow. And at Jules, I just asked it to find a bug. It looks pretty good. It's going to write a test, and then I'm going to create a PR and review it. I think it's going to be transformational.
Look,
it already kind of is with all the Cursor rules and all the crazy setups that people are doing. So this is just kind of, I guess, democratizing that a little bit more. But you still do need to know what you're doing. And honestly, I don't really like how Gemini models code, but I'm just very opinionated on that.
So I did see a comparison between Codex and Codex. We should mention Codex came full circle because Codex was first announced as OpenAI's like coding model back when models were not doing everything together before they grew to like an insane amount, like 2 years ago, maybe more, maybe like 3 years ago. Yeah, 3. Codex was before ThursdAI. We've been doing ThursdAI for 2 years. Jesus. So Codex was like OpenAI's like coding model before GPT 3.5 and merging and instruction following, etc. Then Codex became obsolete. Then Codex became a CLI tool that's very similar to Cloud Code. And now with this Friday, Codex is 2 new things. Codex is the agent that runs in the cloud. Codex 1 or something like this is also a model that they trained specifically for those use cases. So Nistan, maybe you're right. I don't know what Jules uses. I don't know if it's like fine-tuned or not, but definitely Codex now uses a specific model for this. And from the comparison that I've seen, I only seen one, and I got access to both of them. Didn't yet get access to GitHub Copilot async. Codex,
it's an O3 mini trained for code, which is very interesting. Honestly, I really like 4.1. I love that model.
Yeah. It's a good model.
That's a very good. That's a very good model.
It's good model, sir.
I haven't tried.
Folks, we have
good model, sir.
It's good model.
Now we're
sir.
going to get the best model.
We have around 7 minutes until Anthropic's live view. I want to keep talking about GoogleIO releases because there's a bunch there. And after Anthropic, I don't care how long they go. I will cut short because I do want at least like 10 minutes on VEO. I just want to geek out on VEO because VEO to me is world changing. So I really hope Anthropic is condensed and it's not like an hour long keynote because we don't have an hour long to wait for like Claude 4, yes. Ta-da. By the way, folks, a request for everybody who's listening in and tuning in: if they release like a link to a blog post while this like live show is going on, please send me this as well. So we're just gonna cover it from the blog post. We don't have to watch, but we'll tune in. We'll do a watch party. I think it's dope. Like we usually have fun with those. AI mode. Folks, let's talk about AI mode. I love AI mode. I interviewed Robbie again, so I think that I'll add the interview on YouTube and I'll add this to the show notes because I just don't have time to play like my 20 minutes with Robbie. But AI mode, the Google's kind of response to perplexities of the world and basically ChatGPTs of the world, because many people now, they go to search. They don't even think about Google anymore. They're just like, hey, I'll ask ChatGPT. Like I know for a fact my girlfriend does this. She's like, how to do this and this. Just let's ask ChatGPT. It's easier. You just talk to it, especially with voice. Perplexity for the longest time showed like a thing and said, hey, here's how search should be. Not 10 blue links that makes no sense. I want to talk to my search results. I want to ask a question.
Perplexity also released something. They have their own browser now.
Yeah, we will not give them the spotlight here doing GoogleIO because Perplexity can release first, give us access, and then we'll see. They didn't release yet. I only see like sparkles of things. Did you try it? No, Comet, right? Comet, sound like this. Looks interesting, looks intriguing. But the answer to Perplexity from GoogleIO was basically, hey, we're Google. Google is going to win this thing because we're Google, and they released AI mode. AI mode sits in a separate tab on google.com, and now it's GA available. That's the launch that what's happened on stage. And so we talked about AI mode. I can refer you to the previous episodes. We interviewed Robbie Stein again, the VP that's in charge of this in Google. It was now announced live on stage. Not only that, they added like a bunch of stuff. So a few things that they've added to AI mode is deep search. AI mode, unlike deep research that we can use again from Google, from OpenAI, from Quen has deep research. Everybody seems to have deep research. Even Anthropic has deep research capabilities. Deep research goes deep. It researches like 300 links sometimes and gives you like a long ass response that you can just like go through and sit there for like 10 minutes and read. AI mode can't afford to be this long. AI mode is quick. Slower maybe than the regular Google search, but not that slow. And it goes and browses like maybe 10 or 50 links sometimes and gives you like a summary answer. I have fully switched to AI mode since chat with Robbie. I don't know if you guys had the chance to try this. And but now sometimes I need to decide if I'm going to like deep research and I want like full super like verbose like everything, or I want like a quick answer but also summary. So they added both. From some point in the future, AI mode will let you say, hey, I want a deeper answer, and we'll kind of like flow into the deep research mode. They also added personalization. Ryan, go ahead.
It's just so exciting. I think it's going to be fascinating to see how AI SEO really works. Like every business in the world wants to know now. Like, okay, how does this work? Because it's going to change your entire business. So.
I keep asking Robbie this question every time I chat with him, and he keeps saying that nothing major changes. But yeah, many folks are like really wondering what SEO looks like in this world of agentic. Agent decides basically what links to click and what information to take from it. So yeah, we're definitely going to be following up and seeing what folks are coming up with. The very interesting thing with SEO is that. Let's say you're doing very good SEO. You're just opening up a Google search in incognito mode and you see where you land, which page. Here, depending on the comma in the question, AI mode can bring you 10 different sources. So very interesting where they're going to take this. Also interesting that Google's main cash cow is, I think, still search. And this is a direct, potentially threat to this. So we'll see. AI mode is very interesting. They also added a personal context mode. Personal context, they're going to add this to Gemini as well. We didn't cover this. Gemini will know about my Gmail and searches, and an AI mode will also take into account, if I want to, toggleable on and off, my search history and my Gmail and calendar and Drive things. So this is also something that's going to be helpful to some people. Search based on what it knows about me from a Gmail account.
It's also proactive. It's proactive. Mm-hmm. Jumping from nowhere on notification and so on. Something that OpenAI tried to do for many different iterations, many different kinds of products, and still not doing it yet. So interesting to see.
Yeah, proactivity is also something. I don't know if it's related to AI mode specifically, but I think so. Google will just send you a notification knowing that something is coming, like a I don't know, a calendar event or kids recital or whatever, and just do some stuff for you. The additional last thing that maybe we'll cover before we jump over to Anthropic, which starts soon. Welcome to the watch party with Anthropic, folks. They added Project Mariner execution capabilities into AI mode. AI mode will now go. Let's say you're looking for tickets. We'll click into the event. We'll see your dates and see availability of tickets and give you a dip link to buy those tickets. It won't buy them for you. But this is, Ryan, what we talked about before, the jump from Web 2 to Web 3. It looks like we're jumping to the agentic web, where it's not only a website, it's also my agent, my search agent actually does something for me on those things, which I think is huge. It's absolutely huge.
Yeah, game changer.
Yeah. So what do you think, folks? 9:30 is in a minute. It looks like we're starting. I'm just going to turn on the music, and then we're going to just talk about the fact that Anthropic. Oh, I need to cancel picture in picture so you guys be able to see this. Right? Yes, now you can see.
You seem so blasé about Claude 4. This is a big deal.
I don't know about Claude 4 yet. They haven't announced it yet. We only heard about this from Time Magazine. Folks, we're switching to
million different places already.
Yeah,
it might just be the most intelligent silicon-based life form in the galaxy.
Oh, look who we have joining the watch party. Wolfram, welcome. You just
Let's go.
Hello, just in time.
Happy Claude 4 day for those who celebrate. Let's go.
Yeah, Claude 4, folks. We haven't, hopefully Opus. We haven't heard a big Opus in a while. This is a live stream that's going to start from Anthropic from San Francisco, 9:30 a.m. They're probably not going to start on time, so we have a second to chat while the music. Oh, it's starting. Let's go.
Let's go.
Artifacts, I like it.
It's making an 8-bit game. Okay. Oh, there's a little animation popping up there.
I remember this one. I remember Claude.
Oh, but it finished the level. Oh, okay. Okay, this is just the intro. All right, fun. All right.
Please welcome to the stage Chief Product Officer of Anthropic, Mike Krieger.
All right, let's see what they have.
That might be a bit of mic feedback from someone else.
Let's mute.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Code with Claude, Anthropic's first developer conference. I'm really happy to see you all here.
Turn
I'm
the
Mike
volume
Krieger.
up.
I'm
All
Chief
right.
Product Officer here at Anthropic. I just hit my 1-year mark, which in AI years is about like 3 years, but I'm having a blast. And before this, I co-founded Instagram and also an AI-powered news app called Artifact, which is where I first started getting exposed to a lot of these AI technologies. I joined Anthropic because of its founder's vision, building AI systems that are powerful, as well as helpful and trustworthy. Today, that vision includes something immediate and concrete, a commitment to empower developers like yourselves to transform how work gets done and how companies get built. This transformation is about augmenting, not replacing, human creativity. AI agents are changing the way we work and the way we innovate. They're expanding what we can build by removing bottlenecks that have limited human productivity. Today, you'll hear from our product and engineering leaders, as well as some of our customers, about how they're pushing the frontier. To give you a sense of what you can expect today at Code with Claude, you can attend 3 technical deep dives to transform how you build with Claude, and 5 sessions from leading players already using Anthropic's platform to reshape their industries, and dedicated office hours and workshops for hands-on experience.
Where's the
But
announcement?
before we talk about some exciting new API capabilities I have for you, I want to invite a guest on stage. Please welcome our CEO and co-founder, Dario
Let's
Amodei.
go.
Let's go, Dario.
Let's go.
Hey everyone, I'm going to be back in 20 minutes for a fireside, so I'll be really brief with this appearance.
All right, 20 minutes.
I'm not one to hype things up, so I'll just say this without any further fanfare. I'm happy to announce that as of exactly this moment, we're releasing Claude 4 Opus and Claude 4 Sonnet.
Let's
on
go.
all of our relevant product services.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Claude 4. Let's go. Claude 4 Opus.
Exciting.
Now, I know that we haven't had an Opus model in a while, so just as a reminder, Opus is the most capable and intelligent model, and Sonnet is the mid-level model that you all know and love and have been using for the last approximately year. That's a good balance between intelligence and efficiency. We tried to design both of them so that there are use cases and times when it's optimal to use each one. So I will talk very briefly about the 2 of them and then turn it back over to Mike, and then I'll be back for the fireside. First, let's talk about Opus. So it is especially designed for coding and agentic tasks. It gets state-of-the-art on SWE-bench, Terminal Bench, some other things like that. But I think in many ways, as we're often finding with large models, the benchmarks don't fully do justice to it. Customers who we've previewed it to have found that it can do tasks that take humans up to 6 or 7 hours autonomously within Anthropic. I've seen some of our most senior engineers be surprised at how much more productive it has made them. And for the first time, actually, when I've looked and seen Claude-written internal summaries, documents, and ideas, in the past, the quality was often good, but you could never really quite mistake it for a human because it always had that specific style. This was the first time I actually got fooled, where I actually got back, and then I just read by the name really fast, and I thought it referred to someone on the team, and I'm like, no, the name was Claude. So I think there's a lot in Opus. On Sonnet, I think this will be for many people a strict update for a strict improvement from Sonnet 3.7 at the same cost and better intelligence. Many customers are simply switching directly from one to the other. It actually does just as well as Opus on some of the coding benchmarks, but I think it's leaner and more narrowly focused. I think in particular, it addresses some of the feedback we got on Sonnet 3.7 around overeagerness, the tendency to do more than you asked for, which is sort of the opposite of laziness, which was an earlier problem, and some of the reward hacking issues. So many of our customers have been trying it out and view it as a strong upgrade from 3.7. For example, Cursor. Cursor here has been one of our well-known customers, has been trying it and saying this is a state of the art. This is a state of the art coding model. It's a leap forward in complex code base understanding, and we expect developers will experience across the board capability improvements. Someone who was playing with the model in person, one customer said, "What the F is this model?" It's really amazing. So I'll leave the details to others, but the last thing I'll say is we are going to continue to improve the Claude 4 series of models. We expect to periodically release perhaps minor version updates, ideally even more frequently than we have for Sonnet. So it should be out there. You should be able to try it on basically all the surfaces as of now, except I think free tier has Sonnet only, but all the other surfaces, all the API surfaces have both. So really hope you enjoy the model, and I'll turn it back over to Mike.
Let's go.
Oh, exciting.
All right, let's see if we're going to keep watching this, because this may be not.
Thank you, Dario. 2 new models, and you heard it here first. We'll be seeing Dario again, as you mentioned, at the end of our agenda for a Q&A, where I'll get to ask him the questions that are likely on your mind right now as well. I'm personally very excited for our customers to try both Claude Opus 4 and Sonnet 4. Our teams have loved working with them, and we think you will too. Now that Dario has shared our big model news, I'll talk more about our detailed API roadmap. Our goals for building Claude 4 were clear from the start. We wanted to build powerful AI that safely introduces new model capabilities, continue to advance the frontier for coding and AI agents, and ensure that Claude becomes your virtual collaborator. And that's exactly what we've delivered with Opus 4 and Sonnet 4. Like Sonnet 3.7, both Claude 4 models are what we call hybrid models that have 2 modes, near instant responses and extended thinking for when you need deeper reasoning. I've been surprised at how many customers use the deeper reasoning even for non-coding and non-math use cases. Opus 4 is great at understanding your code base and planning additions. It's extremely effective and accurate with everything from migrations to code refactorings, and it's also the right choice for your most complex agentic workflows. If you found you've hit a wall with other models on your use case, I think you'll be really pleasantly surprised with what you can do with Opus 4. Sonnet 4, meanwhile, excels at everyday coding tasks, app development, and pair programming. It's also ideal for high-volume use cases. It perfectly balances efficiency with performance. Think of it as your always-on coding partner. Both models are live today, as Dario mentioned, in Claude and Claude Code, as well as the Anthropic API, Amazon Bedrock, and Google Cloud's Vertex AI. These models bring critical new capabilities for building AI agents. They can use tools like web search during the reasoning process, which is new, handle multiple tools in parallel, and when given access to local files, can actually maintain memory across sessions to build knowledge over time. And I'll talk with Dario a little bit about that memory feature too later. These aren't just incremental improvements. They fundamentally change what's possible for AI agents. Now, I know the term agents gets thrown around a lot these days. I have a personal joke, which is how many minutes into a meeting can we make it at Anthropic without saying the word agents? I think I made it 17 minutes or something. But today what we're going to focus on is agents beyond the hype. I think what's really key is with the right underlying models and the right underlying platform tools, AI agents can actually turn human imagination into tangible reality at unprecedented scale. And that's especially important for startups and developers like yourselves. I've been a founder myself. When I think back to Instagram's early days, our famously small team had to make a bunch of very painful either-or decisions. Be either explore adding video to the product or focus on our core creativity. Either focus on our mobile app, and at first our single mobile app, or expand into the web. It was all very single track. With AI agents, startups now can run experiments in parallel, learn from users, and build products faster than ever before, which is something I've heard from many of you all. And AI agents can give you, the founders of startups, access to the kind of strategic thinking that you might get from a high-powered CFO, I see our CFO in the front row here, or head of product, while they're still building towards those key positions yourselves. You're not ready for them to make those hires, but you can hire Claude for some of those roles for now. This transformation is no longer theoretical. I see it in my role and my work every single day. I personally spend a lot of time with Claude, maybe more time with Claude than my significant other. It's fine. In fact, soon after I joined Anthropic, I sat down with Amazon's Alexa team, and they were eager to see how Claude might become part of their vision for the future of voice assistants. At first, my team planned on presenting some slides, talking points, kind of the plan we'd make for any other customer. But in the days leading up to the meeting, I had this like persistent thought, why not use Claude itself to build a hands-on demo? I thought it'd make the conversation more interesting and bring to life the potential of Claude and Alexa functionality together. The challenge was building this demo without any access to Alexa's actual code base. We needed to create a prototype of the core Alexa functionality while also integrating Claude's capabilities, all within a tight 1 week timeline, really a tight 1 weekend timeline. Claude was the only reason we were able to pull this off in such a limited time frame. Our 3-person team, split between San Francisco and London, built a functional prototype that showed the potential. And thanks to Claude, the effort was a success. I even got to write some of the code. You can take the engineer out of the engineering or CTO role, but you can't take it out of me, and do a lot of the front-end development for the project itself. And of course, a lot more work went into the partnership after that first meeting. But Claude is now one of the models that Amazon is using for Alexa Plus, which launched earlier this year and is now rolling out. And we were able to, I think, to really show the potential thanks to Claude. I've been watching this evolution towards agentic AI for years now. When I first got a demo and early access of GitHub Copilot back in 2021, I called it the single most mind-blowing application of machine learning I've ever seen. Back in those days, 2020, we called it machine learning instead of AI. That was generations ago, but it was really clear the potential for this early glimpse of agentic AI. I had an even stronger feeling last summer when we launched Artifacts. I could describe what I wanted for a mini app or visualization, hit send, go grab coffee, and come back to Claude
I feel like
having
we're in
built what I've
marketing
imagined.
land now.
And over the following year, it's become clear we're not just
Yeah, we got
building
emails,
better
we got
tools,
scores.
we're creating genuine collaborators. And Anthropic's economic research confirms what I've seen firsthand. For the majority of use cases, AI is augmenting people's work instead of replacing it. It's much more about tasks than entire roles. And this is similar to the influence that your best colleagues have. The most talented people you work with don't just execute, they understand your context, they learn from experience, and they know when to take the initiative versus when to just check in. Great AI agents like the ones you can build on our platform should excel at 3 capabilities. They should have contextual intelligence, understanding you and your organization's unique context, and continuously learning from experience, not just following instructions, but comprehending the why and the how. That means models that learn and personalize over time, acquiring not just contextual, but also episodic and organizational memory. The way I always put this to the team is your 100th task with an agent should be much better than your first, just like your 100th day with an employee should be much better than your first if you're doing the right things around training. Second, long-running execution. Handling complex, multi-hour tasks without constant management, coordinating with other agents and humans as needed. So you have the context, and then you can execute it over a longer period of time. And third, genuine collaboration, engaging in meaningful dialogue, adapting to your working style, and providing transparent reasoning for their actions. The key insight here is that true agency doesn't mean uncontrolled action, and autonomy doesn't mean just YOLOing it. It means intelligent autonomy balanced with clear checkpoints, maintaining human oversight for critical decisions while delegating the smaller decisions that usually consume so much of our time. Now let's talk about those capabilities we're announcing to serve those 3 needs. We'll start with our new code execution tool, which is available on the Anthropic API today. The code execution tool gives Claude an environment where it can run code, enabling it to act as a data analyst that can transform raw data into visual insights. Claude doesn't just write code anymore, now it can execute it. It sees the results, and it can iteratively refine the results and the code to better highlight patterns in your data. Here, we'll show Claude analyzing sales data to see how a specific type of product is performing. Claude can load your data set, clean it, generate exploratory charts, and drill down into anomalies all in real time. As someone who started their career as a data visualization analyst, this resonates a bunch with me. And the code execution tool is even more powerful when combined with the intelligence of the Claude 4 models. This is what we mean by agency, the ability to take a complex task and see it through to completion. These are the first models capable of handling hours of tasks, saving you half, maybe even full days when you work alongside them. And not just writing code snippets, but refactoring entire code bases or implementing complex features from scratch. To give you a sense of the kind of progress that we're seeing, back in the day when I started, you could delegate maybe minutes of work to Claude 3. Claude 3.7, meanwhile, could work autonomously for about 45 minutes without losing its thread. And now we're breaking into hours of work that Claude can take on autonomously. As you saw earlier, Rakuten mentioned that they ran Claude independently for an incredible 7 hours with sustained performance. It can do it without losing the thread, especially as it's able to manage its memory and its own to-do list. We've already integrated this power where you work. Hopefully you're all familiar with Claude Code, our agentic coding tool that we launched in research preview a few months ago. We're moving Claude Code to general access today. This actually started as an internal exploratory project by Boris, one of our tech leads. This is his announcement post, who wanted Claude to help them code directly in the terminal. Very early, we still called it Claude CLI internally. I think some of our best innovations like artifacts and Claude Code have really come from this kind of bottoms-up experimentation. It's part of the culture we try to foster at Anthropic. Within just 2 days of launching it internally, our usage chart went vertical. People talk about product market fit. We really often talk about product Anthropic fit. Like, are people internally dogfooding? Are they using it? Today, most Anthropic employees rely on it for everything from routine coding to large-scale migrations. I've watched some of our most advanced coders run multiple copies of Claude Code across multiple terminal windows.
You're all sleeping on
from
it.
just being
All of you are
engineers
sleeping
to
on
being
this.
managers of several autonomous agents, tackling everything from simple coding tasks to complex full-stack development projects across multiple code bases. I realized I was using Claude Code, and I would run one in our front-end repo and one in our back-end repo, and one of the Claude Code engineers is like, "You're doing it wrong. Just run it in the root. Claude can figure out where it's going to be able to do it across all of them, and it does it beautifully." And that's changed how I've used it already. The vast majority of Anthropic developers use Claude Code daily. To give you a sense of the impact it's had on our team, it's shortened our technical onboarding time to get engineers up to speed from 2 to 3 weeks to 2 to 3 days. I've really seen it, how it can help you build an understanding of the code base, especially a large monolith like ours, very rapidly, as it's fantastic at navigating code. And today we're bringing Claude Code capabilities directly into VS Code and JetBrains with full diff views and agentic workflow management built into the editors. And we're also
Already leaked
introducing
on
the
my
Claude
Twitter
Code SDK,
weeks ago.
so you can build your own applications on top of the same core agent as Claude Code. As an example of the possibilities of the SDK, you can now run Claude Code in GitHub. You can tag Claude in a GitHub pull request or an issue, and it will respond to reviewer feedback, modify code, or implement test coverage. We're also focused on what we call closing the loop. So Claude Code is now helping build itself, and it demonstrates the power of self-improvement as it speeds up its own development. It's incredible how Claude Code empowers developers like yourselves to get more done. I think back to when I was building Instagram. Our team was between 2 and 6 engineers, before we got acquired, and we were supporting 2 mobile platforms. We would have been able to produce prototypes in days and not weeks if we had agentic coding products like this. We've talked a lot about building performant, reliable agents. Now, agency without responsibility is dangerous, especially when you're talking about something that's self-improving like our Claude Code product, and even more so in enterprise settings with stringent security and compliance requirements. I think widespread adoption of agents will require improving model discernment and judgment around confidentiality, decision-making, and coordination. So our models are already good at this, but we'll continue to improve, making sure that they know what's confidential, they know what to reveal, and that you can trust them in a production setting. That's why every feature that we build around our models incorporates what we call architectural safety. Checkpoints and controls, not just carte blanche. Agents pausing on major decisions, while users can define which actions need human approvals, which we've also built into the model context protocol. They're robust against exploitation. We test them, we battle test them, a lot around things like prompt injection. And they're also transparent by design, with clear feedback loops and observable behavior. When you trust your agents to act autonomously, you're free to focus on innovation instead of mitigation. Another area we've invested heavily in is interpretability, the science of understanding exactly what's going on inside the minds of AI models. Dario recently wrote about the urgency of understanding how our AI systems actually work, if you read his essay, The Urgency of Interpretability, what he calls the race between model intelligence and interpretability. Effectively, we want to be able to give our AI an MRI to see what it's thinking about and spot any potential problems like deception so we can steer it in the right direction. When I joined Anthropic, I was excited about how our research pipeline could directly fuel our products. Take Golden Gate Claude. I pushed the ship this in my second week at Anthropic because it didn't feel like it was just a good research paper. It would make a fantastic demo, a visceral demonstration of how interpretability works in action. When we amplified the Golden Gate Bridge feature inside the Claude neural network, we saw that suddenly we could see what it means to manipulate the inner workings of AI, and in this case, make it deeply obsessed with our favorite bridge. The techniques that we used to create Golden Gate Claude could in the future help us reduce harmful model behaviors or improve model performance for specific domains. And as we start employee virtual collaborators around companies, my hope is that we can lean on techniques like interpretability and auditability to be a cornerstone of their work so we can figure out what they're doing at scale. These are the kinds of breakthroughs that are going to help us transform abstract research into tangible product capabilities. As you saw earlier, we're now at the point where AI models can handle hours of autonomous work, and that's a capability that's doubling every several months. But raw model capability alone isn't enough. To unlock these multi-hour workflows in practice, agents also need access to real-world information, a connection to your existing systems, and cost-efficient scaling. That's why we're launching 4 interconnected capabilities to help power agents with context and help them scale. So first off, starting today, you can now connect the Model Context Protocol directly through our API.
Let's go, MCP.
MCP is already being used by Microsoft, Google, OpenAI,
Nice.
Block, Atlassian, Zapier, Linear, and many more. This was the dream list. When we started creating the MCP protocol and we open sourced it, this was the dream list. Like maybe one day we'll get these companies to adopt it. It's less than a year and they've all come on board. MCP acts as the universal translator and connector for AI agents, enabling seamless connection to your existing system without needing to write a custom bespoke integration every single time. This lays the foundation of what could become the agent economy, where specialized agents have access to the data and tools they need to tackle complex challenges. Second, web search gives Claude real-time access to current information. This is intelligent data augmentation that allows Claude to reason about current events, market trends, and emerging technologies. It's really powerful in combination with the MCP feature as well. You can imagine searching across an internal knowledge source, making some new insights, and then going off and searching the web to contextualize them. Third, the Files API is available today in the API to streamline how developers access and store documents, simplifying development workflows. We're also releasing a cookbook to help developers build that memory functionality that I mentioned directly into their applications. These new Claude 4 models have shown significant improvement in what we call self-managed memory. So you'll find that this works surprisingly well. And it can be achieved with very little additional overhead by using the Files API, as we demonstrate in that cookbook. You'll see Claude both read and write to these memory files and maintain context over time. Last, power needs to be practical and scalable. We want to ensure that we can grow with you from prototype to production to millions of users so that you're able to control cost and improve efficiency. We want Claude to work for you as you succeed and reach massive scale. That's why prompt caching was our most requested feature, one of our most popular API features. With prompt caching, customers can provide Claude with more context and background knowledge and example outputs, reducing costs by up to 90% and latency by up to 85% for long prompts. Now, every customer I talked to had one very clear request on prompt caching that we're delivering today, which is a longer time deliver, TTL. So in addition to the 5-minute TTL we had out of the box, with prompt caching, today we're launching a premium 1-hour TTL, which is a 12x improvement that dramatically reduces costs for long-running agent workflows. This infrastructure makes agent applications viable at scale. So these capabilities all compound. When we think about building features into the API, we don't think about them as one-off. We think about how do they complement each other? How do they form a cohesive story? Claude can now execute code, understand your systems, access current information on the web, creating the foundation for agents that operate with full context, even for long-running tasks, and it can use the Files API to maintain memory and context during that entire execution. Everything you've seen this morning is just the beginning. Our roadmap continues to build on 3 pillars. The first is industry-leading agentic tools and applications, so you can use Claude autonomously to handle hours of work, knowing it can use the code environment, code execution tool to execute code in its own environment. Claude Code is now generally available, integrating with VS Code and JetBrains, so you can use the extensive SDKs to build your own custom workflows, including inside GitHub. We'll continue to push on integrating more context in the API. Our updates today allow you to bring this context via the Model Context Protocol, as well as build on real-time updates from the web and execute complex workflows across any data source and across anything in the API via MCP. And finally, efficient scaling. As of today, you can use the expanded 1-hour prompt caching to optimize performance and cost at scale. Each advancement builds on what we've discussed today. With Claude 4 as the foundation, Opus 4 for your most complex agentic workflows, Sonnet 4 as your daily driver for everyday intelligence. We're enabling a new class of applications. Code execution expands the hours of work that Claude can do. MCP expands the comprehensive information that Claude can retrieve, and our platform updates ensure our models become increasingly efficient for every dollar spent. We're actively learning from developers like yourselves to how you use these tools, so please keep the feedback coming. I love API feedback. If you don't know this about me, like absolutely, like ping me. I love hearing the feedback and how we can continue to improve the API for developers like yourselves. And MCP is a perfect example of this. It started as an internal idea and then began and graduated to community experimentation, and now it's a core platform feature. If you watch the Microsoft Build keynote, they're building MCP into so much of their real infrastructure as well. We want to create an ecosystem of AI agents where we have the feedback loops to make them actually useful for you. Today, we stand at a major threshold. Our latest models, combined with all the latest tools that we've released, are giving you the seeds of a new era. The future isn't about AI doing human work. It's about AI helping humans do superhuman work. And I'm really excited to build this vision together with you, and I can't wait to see the kinds of applications it powers for all of your companies. And to show you what's possible, I'm next going to hand the mic to Kat Wu from our product team to demonstrate how accessing our new models inside Claude Code transforms your development workflows, helping you ship complex, multi-day tasks in a single conversation. Welcome again to Code with Claude, and thanks again. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
What do you guys think? We're watching this, or I feel like we're watching enough.
These times when you go on stage and you say,
Hi,
I don't want to hype two
I'm
things
Kat
up
Wu.
and drop Claude 4.
Yeah. Yep.
It's exciting.
All right, folks. So I have to use the breaking news button. This is like one hell of a breaking news thing. Let's go. We'll talk about this. AI breaking news coming at you only on ThursdAI. All right. Breaking news from Anthropic: Claude 4 Opus and Claude 4 Sonnet was announced live on stage at the Code with Claude event, the first event with developers. Dario Amodei, as Jan just said, came up and said, I'm not one to hype things, but hey, we'll give you Opus. The biggest and baddest LLM that used to be around is coming back. A state-of-the-art on Sweetbench, verified, and like a bunch of other things. They also upgraded Claude for Sonnet, which we all know and love, 3.5, 3.7, and now we have a version 4. They are already available in the API platforms and on Claude.ai. So folks have been already testing with them as well. They also made Claude Code generally available, the CLI tool that's no longer a CLI tool. It's now integrated with VS Code and shows you diffs and different things. It has thinking mode enabled if you want to with budget tokens. They also upgraded prompt caching to a crazy 1 hour TTL. So like your prompts are going to be for longer complex and agents, like 70% cheaper the longer the agent runs. They talk about multiple things besides evals, specifically about hours of operation beside like compared to previous ones. And they talk about 3.7 Sonnet, maybe doing like 40 minutes of autonomous, and Claude 4 Opus goes for hours at some points. Folks have been testing this. They're testing this right now. Who wants to react first? Come on, folks. Claude Opus is here. This is an insane week. Insane week.
I just ran out of credits in 5 prompts right now. I dumped the code base in one. It found a whole bunch of stuff on state management, which actually took me a while with all the models that I'm working on the app. It just found all of those. It knew perfectly what was up. It knew what was the issue in, and that's something like I have to tell. Also Gemini and other ones. And then I tried my standard Mars thing. Not only did it calculate it all correctly, it built like an orbital simulator where I could stretch the plane, the railgun launch from Mars, and you could see if it actually does achieve orbit, and then the calculator is going to just come back down. Yeah, this is looking good. This is looking very good. Opus, at least. That's what I tested.
Opus looks incredible.
Yeah.
I went into the workbench and did my prompt to create a website that does this and this and this. I have like a prompt that I run, and then I didn't notice, and I did it on Claude Sonnet. I was like, oh no, let me switch to Opus. Opus gave me a significantly better answer. It gave me like CSS animations in there. It explained everything. It smells like a big model. It smells like a big model already, and I will say it's gonna take us a while for the vibes to come out and for folks to to check out. But
Claude Code at the moment still works with 3.7. I'm waiting.
Oh, you can't. You need to update it, right?
So they talked about memory or context, like being shared. Yep. How do we think this works? What is this?
I think they said the cookbook. So it looks like it's code wise and not, like you just build this memory because of the prompt sharing and long context.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, doesn't seem like a model.
Could also be done with MCP, where there are memory MCPs. So maybe that could also be integrated.
Yeah, the MCP is now integrated into the SDK. Let's take a look actually at the docs super quick.
I think it's probably just a RAG, to be honest, but it might be a very good RAG because, especially for documents and stuff, if you have them in.
So we also got Claude Sonnet, which they claimed is a drop-in replacement for 3.7 with improved capabilities. Looks like price is the same, correct? Which is also super, super cool. What
context size? Did anyone catch the context size?
Didn't hear him say, but let's look at the.
It looks about the same on Cursor, and Sonnet 4 is now 3/4 of the price. So they dropped the price a little bit for the Sonnet 4 tokens. This is interesting. There are some things I just that Sonnet 4 is not getting that Opus is getting, which was disappointed. But no, this is great. I'm glad it's also fast that their infrastructure is handling it.
So in addition to the models, they also announced a few capabilities. Extending thinking with tool use. Folks, when O3 came out, the coolest thing about O3 is the thinking with tools. And I think Anthropic is also there already. So like when you use O3, you can ask it to do some stuff. It will use the reasoning and use tools in the reasoning before it gives you the final answer. That is big. That is big because like it's essentially agentic thinking. So they now, for example, have tools like web search, which can O3 also has, which will go research before it gives you an answer, which I think is like super, super cool. I wonder what other tools, whether MCP plugs in here or not, that would be dope, like thinking tool use. Model capabilities have now used tools in parallel, follow instructions more precisely, and when given access to local files, demonstrate significantly improved memory capabilities. So Ryan, when given access to local files by developers, demonstrate significantly improved memory capabilities. Extracting and saving key facts to maintain continuity and build tacit knowledge over time. This is something that he said on stage, not Dario. Who's the other guy? Kevin?
Mike Krieger.
Mike Krieger. That agents should be better the more you use them and not vice versa. And we've seen previously is vice versa. Like the longer you are in the same cursor thread, the dumber it is. And the suggestion was like, hey, open a new one, right? Like, but they're saying we need a new, like we need to be in this, like the longer you use this, the better it gets by learning, extracting capabilities.
Yeah, so it's almost like a built-in RAG. I'm just really curious, like, what is it actually?
Yeah.
Or does that happen out of the box? Or that is powerful and exciting.
Claude Code is GA after receiving extensive feedback, blah, 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 from Yam probably. Yam loves Claude Code. Everybody's sleeping on this according to Yam. Now supports background tasks via GitHub Actions. Yam, this is like the 4 categories that I like outlined of like editor, and then CLI tools, and then action tools. This is now amalgamation of all those like things. Background actions via GitHub
this is
Actions.
what your guys are sleeping on. If you have a shell model, you can do whatever you want because shell is your entire computer. You can run the IDE like they're doing right now, working in VS Code and in PyCharm and in whatever you want. It doesn't matter. You can connect whatever you want to this. This is what I'm trying to tell you guys. A shell agent can control your entire computer. And what they did is first created a base, extremely powerful one, and now they're connecting it to whatever you want, to your IDE, to your browser, to anything, because at the base of it it can control the entire computer. That's what I'm trying to say. It's an extremely powerful agent, and now they are connecting it to everywhere, pretty much.
So, Yam, can you dive in a little bit? Like, what is your daily driver setup? I'm curious.
I'm using Claude Code a lot. I find it extremely powerful. The reason for this is because, let's say, for example, Codex is also a really good agent. But the thing is that Claude Code can also, just by typing to it, you can tell it to run the code, to test the code, to, for example, even open a browser and look at design, because it can control the entire computer. It can just do whatever you want. Like opening a browser and looking at the screen is something that you can do with it. Now, I don't know if you can configure, for example, Codex to do this. I assume there is a way, but again, you need to find a way to configure it or build it to do this. And Claude Code, it just controls the computer. You can just tell it. That's what I'm saying. It's extremely powerful.
It is. I mean, Codex doesn't have any network access, so it can't do any of that. And it's doing all this through MCP. So it's firing off MCP commands to open up your browser, like through like a Playwright MCP or what?
Yeah. And you can just install MCPs with a single command line, like with Smithery or whatever your MCP provider that you like the most, and it just works really well. For those that use Claude, the client side application, not the CLI, it somewhat resembles the way it works there. So if you have a hard time to imagine what I'm talking about, think about the client-side application of Claude, where you can connect to MCPs and so on. But if that has more freedom, like it can really do whatever it wants with your computer.
So speaking of MCP, MCP connector is something I want to understand together what that means specifically. They said they have an MCP connector for remote MCPs, which I want to understand what the difference is from what we already had. But let's start with the 4 capabilities they added. Code execution tool, code execution in Anthropic API. So this what we talked about when we talk about Claude Code, this is on your machine, so it can run code, basically call shell commands, etc. This is via the API. So when you hit Anthropic, Claude for Opus, Claude for Sonnet, and you say, hey, do this, do that, do this, do that, they are able to run, I'm assuming, Python code in a sandbox environment. So very similar to E2B. I don't know if they're using E2B or not, but similar to what E2B offers, a sandbox environment that runs code and does visualizations and computational results. I doubt they will have access to GPUs for this to actually run and train models, though, in that sandbox environment. But it's some CPU is possible. Nistan, a while ago, this was already possible on ChatGPT, but not via API. I think ChatGPT also has some code execution they recently released, but I honestly don't remember. But I think so.
I'm not sure through the API, but definitely through the client side.
Yeah, client side, yes, but API I think is the biggest deal, right? You now have access for this agent that you talk to via API to build with. It can now run things.
I think what we see here is that Anthropic also realizing that Claude Code is incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
But again, you need to be some sort of power user, use it through the terminal, CLI, and so on. So they want to, give you access to this power. So they wrap the entire CLI on their own cloud and just, let you just talk to it and, get the same benefits that without setting up the entire computer on your own.
Yeah.
And I kind of get where they are at. They have this powerful tool, but it's not easy to use for the vast majority of people. So they are trying to just give it to you access to this tool through VS Code, maybe through the cloud. And I think it's the most amazing thing about it is that this tool started inside Anthropic as just someone building something for themselves. And just it's spread throughout the entire organization because it works so well.
And through the world, in the case of MCP, because they said the dream list of everybody who adopts MCP is there. MCP connector in the Anthropic API enables developers to connect Claude to any remote MCP server without writing client code. Ooh, okay. Previously, connecting MCP required building out your client harness to handle MCP connections. Now, Anthropic API handles all connection management, tool discovery, error handling automatically. Simply add a remote MCP server URL to your API request. Oh, that's big.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so why this is big. So super quickly. Let's say you're building an agent, you want to use Claude, Opus, whatever for this agent. You want to give this agent tools. MCP is the protocol that like provides those tools. MCP has clients and servers. You essentially need to build a client and then to provide the servers, i.e. tools to this client. What they're saying is you don't have to. It's now built into the API. All you need with the API request to say, hey, Opus, I want you to use GitHub MCP to do this thing and that, and they will just take care of everything behind the scenes, significantly reducing the need for like custom code.
That's amazing.
That's quite big. This feels quite big. You just add MCP server URL and probably some authentication, and then it connects, retrieves tools, reasons about what tools to call, execute tools calls agentically until sufficient result is achieved, manages authentication, client handling. Probably gives you zero observability into this. So we need to reach out to Anthropic for observability, because like this essentially diffuses even more what you can do.
There's a good question in the comments actually from Alex asking what the knowledge cutoff is. That's interesting.
I would say knowledge cutoff is.
We know. We got a date. It's already. I'll tell you. I think it's March this year, 2025. But let me just. Yeah, let me confirm, but we got a date.
Once you confirm, I will just say that knowledge cutoff, now that web search tool is part of the thinking, doesn't matter as much as it used to. Like the whole point of web search is like knowledge cutoff things.
Yeah.
But you know, the model still needs to know some stuff. Files API also signifies that developers store and access documents when building with Claude. So you don't have to file upload never request. You can upload documents once. Oh, they store files now.
Yeah. We got confirmation and March 2025 knowledge cutoff.
Hell yeah, sure. March 25. That's dope. So files will now be loaded into the API. So they store files on Opus, and Opus can refer to the files that you uploaded before. Codex. The files API will
thinks midway.
Hold on, listen 1 second. Files API will integrate with code execution tool. So Claude can access and process uploaded files during code execution. So now you can upload like a CSV, and then you can ask it to like run computation on the CSV, and you don't have to re-upload this again. Listen, tell me about this thinking midway.
Dude, it feels more human-like. Where when I was giving it a problem, it doesn't just do the whole thinking and rambling in the beginning. It stops midway to do thinking. So it has midway thinking tokens, and this is a big deal. So if it's something very hard, it like rumbles it around a little bit, and it chooses when to do that on its own. So we got like completely fully dynamic thinking. It's like I had Opus just generate everything it needs to do in my code base. I dropped it back into Cursor as it was in 3.7 Sonnet, just fixing everything. This is good. I love the other, but also I disagree a bit on the knowledge cutoff date. So if you want to do something like you want to use JavaScript signals, which is in the standard as a proposal, but it's not a full JavaScript standard yet. That's all very recent work. The model needs to know how to code in that. It can't like simply just pull that up. There's quite a few things if you want to do more fancy stuff in the app, especially for code, that it needs to know the latest. But for everything else, I think it's fine.
So let's go back to thanks. Listen, yeah, I agree. Cutoff is still important. Now the models need to know like what's going on even before web search. Web search is an initial tool. Like yeah. State of the art 72.7% of SweBench verified. Wolfram, you've been quiet. What do you think about this eval?
I'm preparing my MMU Pro benchmark right now and trying to connect the model. But yeah, it's definitely a cool thing. And I love the MCP integration because I've always been looking for a way to set up MCP centrally so you can access it with different AIs, but you always had to have a client, and now you can just do it that way. What the intelligence of the model is concerned, it's Opus. I expect the best model to be there. And I want to compare to the other big ones like O3.
And if someone asks you to use Windows for work, now you have an excuse to do it in a fun way.
Folks, I want to ask something. Claude Opus 4 leading on SweBench 72.5, and I'm scrolling down, and they're saying Claude Sonnet 4 does state of the art 72.7. So how's 72.5 state of the art as well? Like 72.5 is less than 72.7. What am I missing? So Sonnet is better than Opus at Sweetbench?
There's a lot of agentic calls and stuff going on that it might actually perform better, because that benchmark has favored even Sonnet 3.5 for so long. It's kind of built like around how Sonnet 3.5 works, but
this is crazy. So Sonnet 4 with parallel test time compute is getting 80% on Sweetbench verified. Folks, we're getting closer to like getting Sweetbench.
Wait.
You can't just
get 56.
You can't just add parallel test time compute like this. I mean, it's a big thing to add to the
That's
model.
what they've been doing the whole time. This has been that whole secret. It's been parallel inference. That's what people have been saying, like how the Sonnet did the Sonnet jump. But now they're actually saying it, which is very interesting. Okay, cool.
Wait. You think that this was already...
Yeah. The whole thing. The reason that 3.7 got so good, or 3.5, a lot of people that were looking at papers thought it was a form of parallel inference going on, that the model was able to be both fast and that good. But now they're actually adding that word in there, which is interesting.
Everything is best of n. Everything is best of n.
Some alpha leaking there, yes.
I mean, does the parallel test time compute happen out of the box, or do you need a client that actually uses it like a Max?
I think for Sweetbench verified, they're doing harnesses. Like it just doesn't happen out of the box. Like they all like do agentic stuff. Like even when Wits and Biases will top their Sweetbench verified, there's a harness. OpenAI Codex probably did harness as well. It's not just like you need to like build things into it. But let's look at the numbers without the parallel test time compute. Sonnet 4 gets 72.7, which is more than Codex 1, which was Friday state of the art. This is one of those weeks, folks. One of those weeks when you get like state of the art on state of the art. Very interestingly, Gemini 2.5, folks, the LM Arena is basically top number 1 and everything. Do not mention Sweetbench verified in the releases.
It's the thing that GoogleIO is like the universal AI launch day of all the companies, because they all try to like shadow each other, so everyone converged on the same week. Everything is out now.
So for folks who are listening, not everybody codes, and I think less and less people will code, and more they will use agents to code with them. But like Sweetbench verified specifically refers to tasks that execute things on GitHub, Python task, I believe. And the goal is to pass all the tests there. And so Sonnet was always the best one at those. And then recently we saw OpenAI VEO3 getting 69%. As recent as this Friday, the Codex 1 version of OpenAI, which Codex, the online agent, uses, got 72 when they said, hey, it's state of the art. And now both new models from Anthropic's Sonnet 4 and Opus 4 beat that out of the box with no parallel thinking. But then with parallel thinking, I think Sonnet 4 is the first model to beat 80% of Sweetbench. This is insane. Sweetbench verified. Sweetbench and Sweetbench verified are two different things. Verified is like the harder subset of tasks. This is crazy to me, folks.
Also important to emphasize that those models are competing against agents that have like an entire strategy of how to use the models, and probably if I understand here correctly, here we see a raw performance of a model as is, just choosing tools and doing the tasks.
So I think the raw one is 72.7, and then the agent parallel thinking thing, that's the agentic stuff.
I'll say, like, I code late into the night every night, and I am pounding on Gemini 2.5 Pro, and it blows me away on a daily basis. Like last night, it completed this feature that, and Sonnet is going to smoke it. Like that is just mind blowing to me. I can't.
Gemini, just for context, for folks who are listening, Gemini Pro 2.5 is a great model. It's at 63% of Sweetbench verified, but Sonnet gets to 80. Insane, absolutely insane.
Correction, the DevStrawl, the fully OSS one, is at 46. Well, still good.
I will say, I mean, a million token context is super important though. So like the 2.5 Pro angle is important. So
we didn't get a context update here, right? It's still like
Yeah, it's
200,000.
capped at 120 on Cursor for Sonnet 4. We don't know what the Opus one is. Probably bigger. I mean, bigger models have more.
I just want to say,
involved.
Devstral is 200 times smaller than Opus. Not joke. Like this is the number. So
and it gets 46.
Wait,
so.
do we know Opus size?
According to rumors.
I want to highlight this one. Both models, Sonnet and Opus 4, 65% less likely to engage in loopholes or shortcuts to complete tasks, like we know from Claude 3.7.
This is the most important thing. I want to emphasize this. The problem with 3.7, it was an incredible model for sure as an agent, as vibe coder and whatnot. But the thing is that they cooked so hard with the reinforcement learning that the model will do anything to complete your task. Anything. You ask a model for a code to pass a test, it will just hard code your code to like exactly the thing that pass the test and like delete everything else, just because it really tries to do exactly what you're saying. And that was one of the most major problems with 3.7, and you can see it all over Twitter. People are speaking about 3.7 not following instructions like 3.5 and so on. And that it is this. It is trying too hard to take your words literally, like solve the task literally, and like not exactly what you wanted. Like there is a common sense that is missing, and them addressing that is extremely, extremely a positive thing. I mean, if just 3.7 without this type of problems is already huge. So, add on top of that all the other things we see. I mean, this model is going to be, I didn't get to test it yet. I mean, it's out for like, 30 minutes, but it's probably amazing, seriously.
All righty, folks. So we have pretty much capped the discussion on the Anthropic's releases. So we now have releases for OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, and Anthropic. In absolutely insane week. Claude 4, Opus, Claude 4, Sonnet came out. Haiku, no mention of Haiku. Poor Haiku. With incredible stats, this will likely lend itself as the best coding models for sure. For the last 10 minutes of the show, I wanted to highlight something else earth-shattering, earth-breaking, as I promised, going back to GoogleIO, which still happened today. By the way, today is still Google I/O day.
Yesterday already? Yeah. This show flew by today.
Yes, and we have more stuff to still cover. I briefly want to mention that this podcast is sponsored by Words and Biases, obviously. And because of this, I just want to say that we have a show called Fully Connected coming up June 18th and 17th, and you definitely should come. It's called Fully Connected. It's in San Francisco. If you're in San Francisco, it's a beautiful event. I have a promo code for you. You should definitely reach out. So just use this promo code. It's called WB ThursdAI. WB ThursdAI. Let me just add this in the bottom right so you'll know. And we have multiple speakers from different things. We have Varun from Windsurf. We have Joe Spicer from Meta. We have a bunch of folks. You should definitely join if you're in San Francisco. If not, why not join? Why not make a trip out? Go see Golden Gate. The Golden Gate that they talk about with the Golden Gate Claude. It's right there. It's very close. Very close to our office. Our office is great. But you're not going to visit our office. You're going to visit a venue, a beautiful venue. Please come and join Fully Connected for 100% off the ticket. Only for ThursdAI listeners. Use promo code WB ThursdAI without the T.
Can I give props to Weave real quick?
Please do.
So, and again, I'm not being paid by Alex to say any of this, but I'm using Weave to do all my evals in my app. And y'all, it's even easier now with AI to get Weave set up. You just tell Cursor, listen, I want to do evals with Weave, and boom. And it's just so good, y'all. It's good.
Thank you, Ryan, so much. We also talking about MCP servers you don't have to set up in Cloud 4, etc. Weave MCP support is there. We launched the Weave MCP. You can connect to your dashboards and ask questions, and it's super cool. I'm going to present this on stage next week as well. Super brief Weights and Biases ish related, Alex ish related things. I'm talking at Imagine AI Live in Vegas next week. It's going to be dope. So the show is going to be live streamed from there. And the week afterwards, AI Engineer World's Fair in San Francisco. the show is going to be also live streamed from there. I'm really hoping for less news from the next week, so we'll be able to actually cover and have some breath and maybe bring some guests. And hopefully, Yam, are you joining AI Engineer? Is that confirmed yet? Or we're still waiting?
Absolutely. I'll be there.
Hell yeah. So me and Yam
Yeah.
will do the show from the AI Engineer floor in a couple of weeks. And next week is going to be live from Imagine AI Podcast Studio. Right. This has been the Voice and Biases Corner. And now for the last 5 minutes of the show, I just want to show a video of VEO2 and basically just like go through it for 5 minutes. Folks, one of the biggest announcements that I saw on GoogleIO, and I think when I asked multiple folks there, including creators, they got a bunch of creators in there. What was your biggest impactful announcement from from GoogleIO? Sorry. Many folks pointed the finger at VEO3. VEO3 is Google's latest incredible a video generation model, and I think for this I will have to kind of showcase, I don't know, one video to talk about this. They launched VEO3. They also launched Imagine 4, which is the image generation model. They kind of work in tandem because sometimes you would like to generate an image and then animate this. VEO3 supports image to video as well. And I think the hugest thing is that VEO3 supports sounds. It's natively multimodal and it's smart. It like doesn't make sense how and why it's the smart, but it's smart. An example of smartness is you can ask it for a comedian in a stand-up telling jokes. I actually am going to now go and find those examples because folks, like without those examples,
not only it gives you the video, it also generates the jokes.
Yes,
like,
it generates the
crazy.
jokes.
Crazy.
Yeah, I honestly don't get what happens there. Is this still a video model, like a autoregressive transformer video model? Like what?
Look,
how?
Look,
I don't get it.
I don't know, but in general, the way you do these kind of things is like you're predicting over time text. I hear myself.
Are you?
Feed?
Give me a second. I know. Let me. Apologies. I need to open a new tab. Hold on. Are you okay now?
Okay. I'm just saying that like you're predicting over time text, you can predict over time frames of a video and audio and text. Like it's the same concept, but obviously it's a little. There is a little bit more to that. But in general, it is the same concept of predicting over time a thing, a text, an image, a video over time. But the fact that, it got to the point where it can also generate, common sense generated jokes of the video itself, as well as the video and the sound, and it's just crazy.
Let's take a look at this.
Crazy that it works this
Hopefully
well.
you guys can hear this. Let me know if you cannot hear this.
My dad was a comedian, and I was always amazed that he could support us all from his jokes.
Did you guys hear this? Yeah? No?
Yep.
Yeah.
Amazing.
My
Let's keep
girlfriend
going.
told me I had to stop acting like a flamingo, so I had to put my foot down.
That's just funny. It's actually good.
Bro,
It's good.
bro.
Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything.
Okay,
This specific joke, like 3 different generations, like the scientists trust atoms, they make up everything. But I want to just show you like what's going on here. Lip sync, perfect lip sync. These models.
Bro, it doesn't first generate the joke and then generate the video for the joke. It generates everything in one go. It's crazy. It generates
the video, it generates the jokes. I want to show you something else though. Many people started generating like different like 80s sitcoms, and I generated a few, and I asked for accents. Let's take a look at like what happens here.
Rajesh, Pranav's parents don't appear in AI videos.
I got it, Mama, but they don't use VEO3.
I literally just prompted for Indian accent, and this came out. I'm blown the fuck away from this. I didn't use the word F. Like I didn't drop one single F-bomb till this. This just breaks my brain of multiple things. The situational. Well, yeah, let me land this point. Sorry, I have to get it out. Situational awareness of these characters within the scene is there. They look at each other. They know where the characters sit. They know who's speaking when. This is insane. Like this level of we can bring up the Will Smith eating spaghetti example from a year ago that looks bonkers now. Like there's laugh track behind the scenes that goes into like when the dialogue ends. So this model is like actually smart. It's not a video model anymore. This gets us closer to world models. This feels like a world simulator model because like a lot of it, physics generation is crazy. I prompted it for a Russian accent. You guys want to hear the Russian accent? It's crazy.
You know, your friends are not as up to date as you.
They also don't subscribe to Alex Volkov on ThursdAI.
Just so okay, this wasn't one shot. Like I had to prompt it multiple times for like a Russian accent, but it works. Accents are there, acting out is there, laugh track behind the scenes. Like it probably was trained like all of YouTube. Like I don't even know, folks. This is just like absolutely insane. I want to shout out FOFR in the comments. FOFR on X is you guys have to follow FOFR for his like attempts, the incredible like creative stuff that FOFR tests out. I don't know, FOFR is just like mind blowing. Folks have been trying different like talking things. I think it adds so much. The previous benchmark that I had for whether or not this is an AI generated video or not was stillness and quietness, right? And short strings. This blows the uncanny valley level for me. Like this blows through the uncanny valley. Some of these I will 100% will fool people that build with AI video models. What do we think, folks? Have you seen any like incredible ones? I will end the show in like 5 minutes of just like a compilation of the best ones.
This is crazy, seriously. Like the entire thing, it's just crazy. Like, you know, remember when they just, Google just started to warm up with Bard and so on, and we got this leaked quote. I think it was, I'm not sure, but I think it was maybe Sergey Brin or something. It doesn't matter. Maybe he's Sundar. I don't know. We got a quote from someone at the top of Google saying that we are going to do it even if we need to train the model on every bit of the internet.
Yeah.
And I think this is what we see here. Like, what was this even trained on? Like, there are shows inside of it. There are talk shows. There are things from the 90s. There are comedians. It's just crazy. Like, look at the width of this. Like, it just works, and it's all perfect. Every single one of them. It's crazy.
They're incredible. I think what we'll do to the end of the show is this, folks. We did it. One of the craziest weeks in AI, and we somehow were able to shove all of this into 2 hours. If you missed any part of the show, we're available at ThursdAI.news. The show is going to get edited lightly because this is like this, there's no space in between the density of information that we shared here. We also watched the live show with the breaking news from Anthropic, from Claude 4, Sonnet and Opus. GoogleIO was incredible. We did not talk about LM Arena's $100 million seed round from Andreessen Horowitz. We did not talk about Jonny Ive joining OpenAI and their companies now being, building the OpenAI design, which is a huge thing. But I will say this.
Each of these is crazy on its own. Like, and we're like, no, we don't have time for this.
We have to pick and choose.
No, we don't have time for this now. So.
And we've covered most of the important news, I feel like, specifically with breaking news as well. I will say, if you missed any part of the show, again, ThursdAI.news, everything is going to be there. Thank you so much for my co-host, Ryan Carson, Jan Peleg, Nisten Wolfram came in here for a little bit. That's awesome. And thank you, everybody who tunes in. We have over 2,600 folks tuned into the video and many folks as well on the Twitter space. Thank you everybody for coming. But hopefully next week is gonna be awesome. I want to the end of the show for the next 5 minutes just show you a compilation. It's been less than 24 hours, maybe less than 48 hours that the VEO3 was out, and the compilation of the best things is just mind-blowing. It's so mind-blowing that I think it's worth ending the show on. So if you're just listening to us, definitely switch into the video stream because you will want to not miss this. And we'll see you here next week with hopefully a crazier week as well, but hopefully more time for us to digest and actually talk about some of these things like Claude, Opus, etc. And nobody launched anything on Friday. I want to breathe a little bit. Thank you. All right, let's take a look because this is just absolutely insane.
Welcome to a non-existent car show. Let's see some opinions.
I mean, man, the acceleration is crazy.
You
Not
look
seen
far, step on the
You don't see
pedal.
video?
That's it. Mhm.
All right.
Oh, man, you guys look so well generated.
All right, I'm gonna try again. You heard sound, right?
Non-existent car show. Let's see some opinions.
I mean, man, the acceleration is crazy. You look far, step on the pedal, and you are there.
I feel safe with him in an SUV, and it seems to be like the right type of car for him.
I think the range is only going to get better. Sorry.
We don't want to drive gas cars anymore.
Yeah, no more gas cars.
You can see I'm kind of a misfit here, but don't tell anyone. I've just bought an electric car.
Hey, sure.
What's the song? Bro. Look at the physics.
Physics are insane. Absolutely insane.
Bro, come on.
Victory Royale with a pickaxe!
So I went to the zoo the other day, and all they had was one dog. It was a Shih Tzu.
Smoke physics.
Do you think we are in VEO3?
If you cannot tell, does it matter?
Cheddar, Swiss, Gouda, Brie, they can all agree. Cheese is the best thing for you and for me.
Space has got perils, unknown dangers, better beware. My line of work, potential for disaster, gotta take care.
Okay, so this is how you start. You find a tree, and you just like, punch it down.
Ah, c'est beau la vie.
Absolutely crazy.
Tired of being alive? Have you ever wanted to feel a completely different level of suffering?
It is absolutely impossible to think in this noise.
Now this takes some elbow
Okay,
grease. Hey, watch it,
Trump's
lady.
going sideways.
I'm trying to rise here.
What the hell? This is insane to me. Look at this.
I would have never known. I would have never known on this.
Look at this one.
I'd like.
It sings with an orchestra. What the fuck?
Look like the text, the things they're saying. It's all perfect. It's not just the video. It's not the
Oh, her hands on the bottom right. One hand
Yo,
is
and
top
I am
and-
so tall.
You're just a round, dumpy little ball.
Well, fuck. I forgot my Starship keys on Earth.
Now we are going to boil water and cook the pasta. Try not to burn this, okay?
This is raw. Do you hear me? Raw.
Is this Ramsey?
Bro, it's
crazy.
So this is how VEO3 was made.
Gosh, this is mind-blowing.
This is mind-blowing.
Come sing and play with us in our little home forever.
okay. You can see. Okay, this is not good. But like,
According to this old sea chart, the lost island isn't myth. We must prepare an expedition immediately.
Where were you on the night of the bubble bath?
The sound effects are perfect.
It's like the entire YouTube.
The microfilm is in your ticket.
They're watching the north exit. Use the service tunnel.
How long do these take to generate?
Less than 5 minutes, I think, for a video. Look, it plays a violin.
That's from Demis.
That's Demis. That's crazy.
I'm one with nature now.
Nature would prefer some personal space.
Oh, that's fun.
The sound effects are synced almost perfectly. Whoa.
This ocean, it's a force, a wild, untamed might. And she commands your awe with every breaking light.
Like, because
this was 5 minutes of absolute insanity, folks. And on this, I think we'll conclude the show, because this to me feels like we've crossed the uncanny valley into just like a world generating model from VEO3. VEO3 is available if you pay for the $250 ultra tier for Gemini. So if you want to go test out and spend some money, AI models, AI Foundation Labs gave you a lot of options to spend your money, either on Claude or on this. With this, we've concluded the show. Thank you so much for being here. It's been an insane week. Hopefully you have tons of things to play. Hopefully we gave you some updates that you maybe didn't know about. We'll be here next week. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.